Imagine waking up before dawn, not to beat traffic or enjoy a coffee, but because your job demands it. You're a pulquero, guardian of one of Mexico's oldest traditions, and your day begins in a dusty, endless maguey field. The work? Grueling. The reward? A pat on the back, if you're lucky. This is no glamorous job. It's a labor of love. The maguey plant? It takes 8 to 10 years to mature. Yes, years. After waiting longer than for a movie sequel, you get a 4-month window to harvest its sap, agua miel. No weekends off here. Your schedule is at the mercy of the plant. While everyone else is still hitting the snooze button, you're out there with a machete, slicing into these agave monsters like you're auditioning for some survivalist's reality show. It's like a full-body workout, minus the gym selfies. Think of a barista. Press a button, and boom, espresso. Easy, right? Now imagine if they had to farm, grind, and roast the beans first. That's a pulquero's life. No machines, no shortcuts. Hours of sweat under the sun, then hauling sap home to ferment in vats that are as moody as a teenager. If fermenting goes wrong, congratulations, your entire batch is ruined. The payoff? Let's not kid ourselves. Craft beer makers are rolling in cash with hip labels and Instagram-friendly tasting rooms, while you're stuck selling a drink fewer people want. Pulque used to be the star, but now most folks prefer cracking open a cold cerveza. Sure, some places like Pulqueria Los Insurgentes still celebrate it, but they're rare. The customers? Mostly hipsters snapping pics for social media or tourists mistaking pulque for some kind of magic juice. Take Don Rafael, a pulquero for over 50 years. His life has been one long marathon of scraping agave and fermenting sap. He hence couldn't keep his vats full. Now they sit half empty while everyone lines up for craft brews. Still, he keeps going, because pulque is more than a job. It's a calling. No benefits, no guarantees, just hard labor and a stubborn dedication to tradition. Pulqueros rise each day, knowing their product isn't trendy or profitable, but they do it anyway, because while others are sipping cocktails, someone's got to keep this ancient tradition alive. Speaking of tradition, let's talk about a job so essential that if it disappeared, the culinary world would basically collapse. Being a tortillero, or tortilla maker. Forget your fancy job titles and cozy offices. This is the gig that keeps Mexico fed and fiestas alive. Without the tortillero, we would be living in a tortilla-less wasteland. No tacos, no quesadillas, no burritos. Just sadness wrapped in lettuce. And nobody wants that. This job? Not for the faint-hearted. You're not sitting at a desk, scrolling through spreadsheets. No, you're up before the roosters, while everyone else is dreaming of breakfast burritos that you haven't even made yet. The masa is waiting, and it's got to be perfect. Too dry? You're serving up tortillas harder than frisbees. Too wet? Well, congratulations, you've invented masa soup. It's a balancing act, except instead of juggling balls, you're juggling dough. And instead of applause, you get a face full of corn flour. And then there's the heat. While the rest of the world is enjoying their iced lattes in air-conditioned cafes, you're sweating buckets next to a comal, the flat, scorching griddle where the magic happens. It's so hot it could melt probably a few metal spoons. But there you are, flipping tortillas like a culinary ninja. By noon, you've practically sweat out half your body weight, but there's no stopping. You've got hundreds, sometimes thousands of tortillas to pump out. It's like being a one-person tortilla factory. Making tortillas isn't just slapping some dough on a grill and hoping for the best. This is an art form. A good tortillero has the precision of a surgeon and the speed of a Formula One pit crew. Flipping tortillas with such grace and speed that it's like watching a maestro conduct an edible symphony. Except instead of applause, you get burns and maybe a nod of approval. Take Doña Rosa, a local legend who's been cranking out tortillas for 30 years. Her hands are faster than a magician's, and her tortillas? Literal perfection. But does she get fanfare? Nah. People are too busy stuffing their faces with tacos to realize they're witnessing greatness. They're tossing back tortillas like they just grow on trees, not realizing there's a whole art behind that delicious disc of corn. And yeah, the pay? Not exactly enough to buy a private island. There's no Tortillero of the Month award, and definitely no gold medals for tortilla flipping speed, but the reward is deeper. You get to feed the people, the real MVP of every fiesta. You're the backbone of Mexican cuisine, and without you, the party doesn't start. No tortillas, no happiness. It's as simple as that. Let's move on to a busier party. You're strutting into an arena with thousands of fans screaming, or maybe booing your name. Your work uniform? A colorful mask that hides your face but unleashes your alter ego. Your workplace? The wrestling ring, where gravity is more of a suggestion than a rule. You're a luchador, Mexico's masked gladiator, flipping and flying your way through a day at the office. This isn't your typical 9 to 5, unless your job description includes getting body slammed by a dude dressed like a demon. Every match feels like a soap opera with fewer tears and more pile drivers. Oh, and let's not forget the mask. It's not just a disguise, it's your entire identity. In fact, it's probably the only thing protecting you from that guy across the ring who's ready to throw you like a rag doll. Sure, most jobs require some sort of skill, typing, spreadsheets, maybe an important PowerPoint presentation. But in Lucha Libre, your skills include backflipping off ropes, taking punches, and pretending like getting thrown onto the mat didn't just ruin your day and your spine. Your coworkers? A wild mix of caped crusaders, villains, and occasionally mini luchadors. Forget corporate team building. Here, bonding means getting slammed into a chair and crawling back to the ring like it's all part of the plan. Then there's the drama. Lucha Libre isn't just about wrestling. It's a full-blown theater production with suplexes. You're not just fighting, you're telling a story. You're either the técnico, the hero, or the rudo, the villain. And your job is to make the crowd feel something, preferably loud enough to drown out the sound of your bones cracking. Take El Santo, the luchador legend who never took off his mask, not even in public. His real name? Top secret. Imagine working your entire career without your colleagues knowing your face. El Santo wasn't just a wrestler, he was a cultural icon. Filling arenas and starring in B-movies where he fought werewolves and aliens. Yes, that happened. He lived the mask and the legend, proving that once you're a luchador, you're not just doing a job, you're crafting a legacy. But let's not gloss over the danger. Broken bones? That's a regular Tuesday. One wrong move and it's game over. You're flying off the top rope, hoping to land right so you don't end up in the ER. And when you do get hurt, you tape it up and keep going. Because hey, the show must go on. There's no HR department for luchadors, just painkillers and grit. The paycheck? Well, unless you're a legend like Rey Mysterio, it's not exactly retirement money. But you don't do it for the cash. You do it for the roar of the crowd, the adrenaline, and that moment when you're airborne, mask on, ready to slam into destiny, or at least the mat. Now let's get dressed for the next job. It's Saturday night. While most people are slipping into comfy clothes and settling in for Netflix, you're buttoning up a charro outfit tighter than your wallet after payday. Skinny boots, embroidered jacket, and of course, the iconic sombrero that could double as a parasol. No, you're not on your way to a costume party or some telenovela audition. You're clocking in for your shift as a mariachi performer, Mexico's walking, singing, strumming superhero. Your job? Transform any place, be it a restaurant, street corner, or backyard quinceañera, into an instant fiesta. And this isn't just a gig. Oh no, you don't just play music. You become the music. The moment you walk in, you're the star. The atmosphere shifts. Suddenly everyone's listening to you, whether you're making grown men weep with your heart-wrenching ballads or getting the crowd stomping their boots to a lively song. You're basically a living, breathing Spotify playlist with no skip button. Once you start, it's showtime till the sombrero comes off. Let's talk about your uniform. Those mariachi outfits are more than just fancy clothes. They're battle gear steeped in tradition. But here's the kicker. They're also hot enough to fry a taco. And while the crowd's lounging in shorts, sipping on margaritas, you're sweating bullets under layers of wool, singing your lungs out and pretending the heat doesn't bother you. But hey, Who needs air conditioning when you've got sangre caliente, right? Your hours? Forget about a standard 9 to 5. You're on call for weddings, baptisms, and funerals alike. Serenading lovebirds at 2 a.m.? Check. Belting out Cielito Lindo at a family reunion where half the guests are 3 tequilas deep? Absolutely. Your job is to be part of life's biggest moments: birth, love, loss, and to play the perfect soundtrack for each. And yeah, sure, most people can clock in, do their work, and head home, but not you. Your job? Tapping into the deepest emotions of total strangers and turning them into music. Are they in love? You've got a song for that. Are they heartbroken? Time to let that melancholy melody flow. Celebrating life or even death? You're there, guitar in hand, turning emotions into art. It's like being a musical therapist, but instead of tissues, you hand out tequila shots. Now let's not forget the endless requests. Someone shouts, "Otra, otra," after you've been playing for hours. You smile and keep going. Someone requests a song you barely know. Time to fake it till you make it. You're a human jukebox with no pause button. And don't think everyone's going to appreciate it either. One day you're serenading a bride and groom with the most romantic love song ever written, and the next you're strumming for tourists who barely tip you enough to cover your bus fare. Still, for every lukewarm crowd, there's that magic moment when the entire room starts singing along. And it's worth it. In the end, being a mariachi isn't just a job, it's a way of life. You're not just a guy with a guitar. You're the heart and soul of Mexico. Every strum, every note, a tribute to a culture that lives and breathes through your music. And yeah, you might be sweaty, your fingers might be sore, and your voice might be hoarse. But hey, that's the price of being a musical superhero. So that's a priceless job, right?